1, 2, 3, go!
Welcome to my YouTube channel. I know a lot of you want to bake cake, but you're saying you don't have oven, you don't have mixer. Well, when I started baking cake, I don't use any of that. I didn't use any of that. I bake my cake without oven, without mixer, and it always comes out very, very fluffy and nice. I'm going to show you guys the secret of how to make a very nice and fluffy vanilla cake without mixer and without an oven. First of all, you will need this. If you have turning stick, that's those things you guys call turning gari, you can still use it, but you will spend a lot of time when you're using turning stick than this cake roller. So you need it, but this is what you're going to use to turn your batter when messy. Now let's start. Your vanilla cake, what you need mostly is your flour, butter, sugar, and your vanilla extract and eggs. Very important. Now I'm using this sachet butter. This is a 250-gram butter. So 250 grams is for 2 cups of flour. You should know that. If you don't know that, like 250 grams is 2 cups of flour. If you want to do 1 cup of flour, you can use half of this butter. Half of this butter, that's 125 grams for 1 cup of flour. But the full butter is 250 grams for 2 cups of flour. So this is what we're making use of. You can use any type of butter you want, but preferable soft butters. Butter that are not like hard. Soft butter. This is actually like my first time using this butter actually. So I don't know how it will come out. The butter you use is very, very important. So I don't put in the butter. Another thing again, make sure to be careful of the kind of bowl you use, because if you use a bowl that is too flat, like 4 corners, it's not going to make you turn your butter easily. So you can either use a stainless bowl that is like circular, like this, something like this, that when you are rolling, it will make you roll easily. Don't use a bowl that is going to make your rolling hard for you. This method of baking cake is not hard. It's not hard. Now there are 2 ways you can do this. Either you just pour in all your ingredients inside and start mixing it till it's very, very fluffy and white, or you do the olden time method by putting your sugar first and mixing your butter and sugar till it's very fluffy before you start adding the other ingredient. I like putting everything together and mixing it. It's more faster for me than the butter and sugar method first. So since we are using 250 grams of butter, I told you before, 250 grams of butter, we're going to use 200 grams of sugar for 2 cups of flour. So if you are using that half butter, all you have to do is to use 100 grams of sugar. This cup I'm using now is 250 ml for 1 cup. That's for 125 grams. 250 ml is equal to 125 grams. 1 cup of flour. You get. Now for sugar, you see sugar weigh more than flour. So 1 cup of flour is 125 grams. For sugar, 1 cup of sugar is 200 grams because sugar weighs more than flour. So if it's flour now and we want to use this 250 grams of flour, now we are going to use 2 cups of this. But since we want to pour in sugar first, we are using 200 grams of sugar for 250 grams of flour. You get, for 2 cups of flour. Please don't misquote. Just listen very carefully. The butter is 250 grams. That's 1 sachet butter. The sugar we are using is 200 grams instead of 250 grams. So it won't be too sugary. We are using 200 grams, and 200 grams of sugar is 1 cup. That's this cup 1. The flour we are using is 250 grams. The butter and the flour will be same measurement. It's going to be same measurement. And to get 250 grams of flour, you're going to use 2 cups of this, because 1 cup of this is 125 grams of flour. You get. So this to the brain. After measuring, just use your hand to level it. So this is a leveled sugar now, and this is what will give you 200 grams. If you fool it that way, it's already more than 200 grams. That's why you have to level it. Same thing when you're measuring your flour, you level it. So pour in our 200 grams of sugar. As I said before, you can either mix the flour and sugar very well till it's fluffy, then before you put your other ingredient, or you put all your ingredients and mix it together. I'm just going to mix this a bit, then I'll put my other ingredients. So you go like this. There's a saying that you should not change hand that is going to make your cake break, but I don't believe in that, sha. I don't believe in that. So you just whisk clockwise like this. Is it quarter clockwise? Anti-clockwise. So you just whisk anti-clockwise like this. All you have to do is whisk. Now I'm just going to mix it a bit. Then I'll put my other ingredients. Now for this 1 sachet of butter, we are going to be using 6 eggs. If you are using 1 cup of flour, you are going to use 3 eggs. Yes, vanilla cake uses a lot of egg. Egg is the #1 key. Now, a lot of you, when baking your cake, you whisk your egg first till it's foaming. Please, this is vanilla cake. Don't whisk it. Don't whisk the egg. If you want a very fluffy cake, don't whisk your egg. We are not after the rising of the cake. We are after the fluffiness of the cake. So don't whisk your egg. All you have to do is break inside directly. So you break 6 eggs into this 1 sachet. So this is exactly 6 eggs. Now the egg is going to make us roll this batter very well. Maybe make it easier to roll very well. Please, large eggs. So all you have to do is roll. Now, as we are rolling this, let's add our flavor. As I said, we are going to add all our ingredients at once before we start concentrating on rolling the batter till it's very, very, very fluffy. So it's time for our flavor. Now, if you are using a cup of flour, you just use half teaspoon of flavor. I'm going to show you what half teaspoon look like. And if you are using 2 cups of flour, which is for a sachet of butter, which is 250 grams, you are going to use 1 teaspoon of your flavor. Now we are doing vanilla cake, so I'm using what vanilla flavor. So I'm making use of this vanilla flavor. I'm going to measure this half teaspoon twice. This is 1, and this is 2. So the next thing I'm going to add is my flour. As I said, you don't need much ingredient, just your butter, sugar, egg, vanilla flavor, and your flour. And you're going to make the most fluffiest and delicious vanilla cake. Now, flour, as I said, we're using how many cups of flour? 2 cups. Measure your flour, you need 2 cups. The 1 cup that you need to measure your flour and a smaller cup to just help you scoop out the flour. Now, as I said before, you just have to fill it in, then you level. Let's fill this in and level. You know we are using 2 cups, right? So it's filled. Now let's level it. You level like this. Now this is it. Always sieve your flour so it can bring in here. Just need sieve that don't have a big hole. That can easily help you sieve your flour. So this is 1 cup of flour. Sieve it inside. Now make the second cup. If you have a measuring cup, like a big measuring cup that have grams on it, you can just measure your 250 grams of flour directly without using cup measurement. The last thing we have to put in is the baking powder. The baking powder helps the flour to rise. Yes, it's like a rising agent. So we don't use yeast for cake. We use baking powder, but if you are doing like donut, you use yeast, or bread, you use yeast as their rising agent. But this is flour. Now for this 250 grams that we did, we are going to use 2 teaspoons of baking powder. But since this teaspoon is half teaspoon, I'm going to use 4 of this. But if it is a 1 teaspoon, well, I'm going to use 2. But this is a half teaspoon, so I'm using 4 of this. 2, 3. You always level. See, I'm always leveling it. You can see 4. Now, since we have added all our ingredients, our only business here now is just to mix. All you have to do is roll this continuously till it's very, very fluffy. So all I have to do now is to keep rolling till it's fluffy. Just keep rolling it till it's very fluffy. You roll it for like up to 30 minutes or 40 minutes if possible. So this is after 5 minutes. Look at the way it's looking. You can see. So keep mixing for up to, let's say, 30 to 40 minutes. So we're only 5 minutes. It's not the consistency we need. You can see it's still showing egg presence. Don't need it to show it. It have to be fluffy, very very fluffy and smooth. So still mix for the next 25 to 35 minutes. So this is after 30 minutes. You can see the batter is now very very fluffy and very smooth, unlike the way it is before, and very shiny. You can see. Now the next thing now we have to do is to get the pan for baking. Now we have to get our pan for baking. I'm going to be using a pan 7. So I'm going to be using a pan 7. This is a pan 7, this is a pan 6. It depends on the size of cake you want to bake and cover. So the cake I want to cover, I want it this big, not this. This I'm just going to use this for tasting. I always like doing an extra cake that I best get. So now let's butter this pan, so when we are putting in butter, the cake would stick to this pan. So now I've gotten our pan. It's time to butter this pan. Now why are we doing this? So the batter will not stick to the pan when the cake is ready. What is butter? This is butter. The stuff which turns to this batter. That's the batter. It is not a cake yet. Still, it's called cake batter. So now let's butter this pan first of all. I'm supposed to be using a brush to do this, but I don't know where my brush is, so I'm going to be using my hands. Wait. Make sure you butter it very well. Put butter on the side of the pan, also inside the pan, the side, the edges, everywhere. Make sure you put the butter there, so the cake batter will stick to the pan. Okay, so you butter this pan very well. We are not through with the buttering of the pan. We'll still use flour to dust it. Now why are we using flour to dust it? So the cake won't come out oily because of this excess butter. So the flour will just dust it for excess flour inside it. So let me butter this one too. You guys know this one, I said this is for testing. I love testing. I'm not gonna put that butter. So I'm dusting it with the flour, as I said before, so the cake will be too oily. You can see we did not use water for this cake, because we are doing a very professional cake. The professional cake don't need water. I don't know why you guys are using water to do inside cake. So this is a well buttered and well dusted pan. You can see this pan now is suitable for putting your cake batter and baking. The water you are even using will even make that cake very strong. So you don't need water. All you have to do is follow the right procedure and you are good to go. So I've dusted this 2 pan. Now it is ready to fill in my cake batter. So now the next thing is to pour in your cake batter. Just pour everything in. You guys know I'm doing testing, but just really for testing, because to still rise up. Let's pour everything in. After pouring your cake batter, all you have to do is heat this pan like this. Now the reason why we're doing this is to level this batter, because the way you place your pan in your oven, or the method I'm going to teach you now about to bake, that's how the cake will come out. If I bake it like this, the cake will come out with lumps like this. So I have to beat it to make it leveled, so the cake is going to come out fine and nice.
So that's all about vanilla cake. So I'm going to teach you guys how to bake this without an oven in my next video. Please turn on notification to see how to do that in my next video.